Oh, she just hung up on us. It's like, damn. We've done it this time.
We did it, uh-huh. Hello and welcome back to Our 3 Cents. It's the greatest podcast on the internet starring me, Bailey.
Again, that's biased, and I'm Laura.
Oh.
Mainly starring me, I'm Molly.
The one who literally almost never talks.
Yeah, you don't have... He definitely just missed our first introduction. I thought we would all be like, and me, Laura, and me, Molly. It'd be a team effort. And then Molly just had to steal the spotlight, and Laura just dipped out.
Sorry.
It's okay. Ladies, it's been a while. Not really.
Not really.
And not really in real life, but in podcast time, it's been a while.
Well.
So how are we doing? Ugh, I wish you wouldn't.
I'm so sorry.
I'm going to start calling you out now, but now the listeners...
People know what it is, I would assume. Hey, I popped my bones.
You can't just say it like that.
I do, I popped my bones. My joints and my sockets. From my neck to my toes.
She sure does. Laura pops her bones when we record, and now that we record in the same room, it's even harder for her to hold off on doing it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I can, hold it when it was me recording by myself. I would just make them say something, and then she would just edit out my pops. But now we're in the same room, and she can't do that.
The pops stay. How was Minnesota?
It was good. It was really humid.
That sucks.
Where's Minnesota? That's really bad for me to say, but I honestly can't find it.
It's
on the
up
map
in
right
it's
now.
up in the north.
I got
it's like
that it was northern, but what?
It's on the border of
surrounds it?
Canada, I think.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Wisconsin's at the border. I'm not sure if Minnesota is or not. But we'll pull up a map while Molly tells us
That's the only
about.
thing in my head is Minnesota, and they have to have,
I did find out that the Mississippi River ends or begins in Minnesota.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was swapping Wisconsin with Minnesota. Yeah, it's right at the border.
Wow, that's a big state. Is that a big state?
It is a big state.
I drove over the Mississippi River, which was cool.
Neat. You can do that at where we live.
Yeah, not a very big deal for us.
Mississippi River all the way in Minnesota.
I'm glad.
So it's cooler.
Why'd they name it the Mississippi River?
It is a Native American word that means great river, I believe.
Mississippi means great in Native American. That's ironic.
Great river. No, I think Mississippi means great river.
That makes sense.
And so it's called the Great River
S's.
River.
You know, they have rivers. I feel like that might be it. I'm not even joking. I feel like that could have some standing. That could have some ground. That could have legs.
Not in a court of law.
Maybe.
I just know that we are named after the river, not the other way around, is all I want to say.
Didn't know.
I just wanted to throw that knowledge at you.
But, it could look like a river. There's lots of it.
Laura, I'm not saying that you can't make an S look like rivers. I'm saying that that's not why the Native Americans named the river
Can we start this podcast, please?
This is in the podcast. I don't know what you're talking about. You could tell us more about Minnesota. But that's the only thing that's going to stop Laura and I from learning more about the history of our great state.
Yeah, the tournament I was at, it had a bunch of international teams there.
From where?
And so, first thing in the morning, on the first day, a bunch of British Ultimate Frisbee players came into our tent, and it was incredible.
Did you just melt?
A great start to my morning.
Did you melt?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it was so humid.
Damn. Were they tall? They're tall over there.
Some of them were.
Okay.
I thought they were short over there.
They're probably British people.
Were just
us, but I'm a short person.
Amazing.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Their accents were amazing.
Well, yeah.
They would say cheers and stuff.
They do that. Yep.
And one guy came up to me to buy something, and he said, "Are you okay?" And it took me a second longer than it should have to understand that he was asking me how are you? And so when he said are you okay? I thought that he was something looked like there was something wrong with me.
Yeah, when you asked that, I was like, were you okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that was him. Because he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm good. How are you?" And he said, "I'm good." So that's what he was asking. But it was a very weird way to ask.
What other countries were there?
There was a team from Japan.
Oh wow.
There.
That's far.
They were really cool. One guy shook my hand after he bought something from me. He asked if he could shake my hand.
At least he asked. That was
nice.
I
love it. So polite
so polite.
all the way around.
Yeah, all the international teams were super polite.
They probably thought
the
we were
British
just, like,
were very polite.
Pieces of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every time I did something, they were like, thank you so much. Like, thank you so much.
So you were just working, not playing.
Yeah, I was just working.
Okay.
And then there was a team from, I think there were 2 teams from Japan. And it was kind of confusing
That's
because...
impressive, though.
Didn't know Ultimate Frisbee was that popular.
Yeah.
One team from Japan had a bunch of, like, white people.
Uh-huh.
So I was very confused.
Are you sure
they were from Osaka, I think. That was
that's definitely Japan.
Yeah. But a lot of them were like, they looked American. Then there were people from New Zealand.
Nice. It's all very far places to come to
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That's a long plane ride.
Yeah,
if you
to
get
play
to see
Ultimate
America
Frisbee.
and you go to Minnesota.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
for
then,
real.
Hungary, Kenya.
Dang. This is a very multicultural event.
Yeah, I can't. There was a team from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
A team from Quebec.
Yes, and they just had to cross the border.
That's
not as impressive.
Yeah, like
they could have driven. But their accents, I love their accents.
Kind of French.
Mm-hmm. We could speak to them.
They have a lot of different words.
There was more, but those were the teams that I saw a lot of. But yeah, it was a cool tournament. The international people, it was intimidating talking to them just because like I was worried they weren't going to be able to understand me. And then, like, trying to understand them was nerve-wracking, so...
Yeah.
Did they speak English well?
Some of them did. A lot of them could read it. So, like my iPad that I use, it asks them to sign, and it says, like, please sign here, so... And most of them, like, understood when I was saying that. Like, I'd be like, well, it's going to ask you to sign. And I'd, like, turn the iPad to them, and they would sign it. And then... they'll hand it back to me, and it'll ask for a receipt, and so I'll be like, do you want a receipt? And they're like, and I'll turn it around to them, and they'll read it, and then they'll understand what I'm saying.
Did the, when Japanese people sign their names, is it in, like, the typical Japanese characters we see, or do they have, like...
A signature?
It was, like, half and half. Like, some of them did the characters, and then some of them signed their actual names.
I bet doing a Japanese character on an iPad where I can barely make an L is difficult.
Oh, no, I feel like it's kind of like just drawing.
Like, the first time I saw them do it, it, like, really threw me off. I was like, what are they spelling?
You will never know.
Really cool because there was a team, an American team, because it was like a double tournament. It was a tournament for international teams, like including American teams. And then that was part of the tournament. The other part of the tournament was youth teams. So it was like a lot of young kids and like a lot of older people. So
so international people and children.
Yeah. Youths. And so there was a family who was with one of the youth teams, and the Japanese team was in the tent. And I guess the dad was Japanese, and he heard them talking, and he like went over and talked to them, and it was really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I want to do that with French people, but I can't.
Yeah.
And then like when the Colombian team was in the tent, one of the guys like could not understand me at all. Like he had to get one of the other guys to come over and like translate what I was saying to him. It was kind of cool.
Molly felt so important because they needed a translator.
They bought a Frisbee from me.
Yes. So is Minnesota just like a big, Frisbee hub, or like...
They have a really big complex where you can play Frisbee.
The North is weird.
Now, here's a follow-up question. Isn't that just a soccer field?
Yep.
Okay.
So they have a big soccer field complex.
So theoretically, any place with a big soccer field could be a Frisbee hub?
Yep.
Okay. Do you think since they play on soccer fields, that's why it's popular in other countries? Like, since they all love soccer, and then they've already got this place to put... I'm going to look up the history of Ultimate Frisbee in a little bit.
I think it was, like, started in Boston.
Ultimate Frisbee?
Yeah.
Ah. That's a total soccer field. They do have a lot of soccer fields in Europe, so, like...
That's what I'm saying, because they love soccer.
I'm just saying that they have ample places to play.
Exactly. Ooh, New Jersey, but close, Molly. At Columbia High School.
Oh. high school students. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Impressive. But we can talk about the history of Ultimate Frisbee later.
I wish Molly knew everything and everything.
I know, Molly.
And everything there is to know about Ultimate Frisbee.
Molly, do some research and, like, bring it to an episode. Anyway. Okay, so today, to start off, I want to start by asking my friend Laura kind of just what the heck she's talking about. So, Laura...
About what? Because, honestly, I say lots of things that
everything.
I forget.
Laura, before and then last episode again,
thank you.
You said that something you think couples should do before they get married is get lost together.
Mm-hmm.
And I see what you mean, like, couples need to be stressed out together to see how you each handle the stress. But, like, okay, are we not allowed to, like, use GPS? Like, do we have to make the submission?
Oh,
like...
no. So sorry. Sorry to not be specific.
Or do you mean the
No.
metaphorical get lost?
Well, no, not, like, metaphorically. Like going on a road... Like, it kind of goes hand in hand with going on a road trip together.
Yeah.
Like, go on a road trip and not know where you are. And it's not one of those things you have to, like, seek out and do.
Uh-huh.
But it's, like... It's one of those things that I don't think you truly know somebody until you do the things that we talked about last week. And, like, getting lost is one of those. Like, people in a panic situation, people in a I'm lost in a place that I'm not familiar with situation, change character really quickly.
And I agree. I just think with, you know, our phones nowadays, people don't got to stop and ask for directions
But
anymore.
it's one of those things that, like, Sam and I and, like, friends and stuff, we've gotten lost, in quotations, in places where it's, like, heavy traffic or...
Yeah.
Like, a big city where it's like, if you don't take that turn, you're about to go 3 miles in the wrong direction.
Yes.
And have to turn around, have to deal with traffic, have to deal with place you're not familiar with. Like, me and Sam got to Atlanta multiple times, and, like, not being familiar with it, driving in even Atlanta is hard. And if it's in the dark, or there's road construction, or if, like, the way that you wanted to go is blocked for some reason, you have to find your way out. Or, God forbid, you don't have... cell phone reception, like, that's happened too, where it's like, we are so far out that we don't have cell phone reception. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you learn a lot about somebody in the panic situations, and it's less of, like, get lost with somebody, it's more of, like, see them in a panic situation, see what their first reaction is, like, see how they handle, not just everyday stress about money or everyday stress about their job. See them in a stressful situation that they have no control over, technically.
Okay. I'm down with that. So it kind of goes hand in hand with taking a road trip, or what do you think about just like a regular vacation? Like, does that
by yourselves?
Yeah,
I mean that constitutes a road trip to me.
Yes, that's true. If you drive to the place,
or I mean, like, road trip is a broad term.
Yeah,
I think driving in the car with somebody is important for a long distance, because you're always gonna have those awkward, like, silences, which are fun to see.
Like,
what
do
happens.
we have to fill it? What do we do?
Is this natural? Is it filled naturally, organically, or is it weird scrounging for topics, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just a learning thing. Everything that I was talking about last week is a learning opportunity.
Yes.
I don't think you're gonna end your relationship if you go on a road trip and get in a fight, or if you get lost and get in a fight. But it's just like, you didn't know this information before. Now you know this information. And they might not have ever known that they acted that way. Because, like, I didn't know a lot about myself before I started dating somebody. And they were like, you do this every time something happens?
Yeah, do you have any, like, specific examples of times when, like, you and Sam or...
So, like, I'm really...
Like, do you have something that made you decide to add this to this kind of
actually,
list?
Somebody told me that.
Okay.
And it just resonated with me. Somebody told me the thing about getting lost and going on a road trip when I was in sophomore in college. And she said it, and it was just like, she explained it to me, and I was just like, oh, wow, that makes total sense. But no, I guess, like, we figured out that Sam's the driver in our relationship. I don't drive.
Yeah.
And it, in part, is because he gets stressed out when I drive, because he likes to be... I'm gonna admit it. He's gonna say something about it.
In control?
He's a better... No. He's a better driver than I am.
Oh.
In, like...
Sam, be proud of your good driving.
In, like...
I've ridden with Laura. I know that
He has defensive driving qualities that I don't have. Mm-hmm. I'm very fine with, like, just lulling around if somebody's going slow or if there's, like, high traffic.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, we're supposed to be somewhere. It's like, I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
Unless, like, I'm in, like, a mood where it's like, no, we gotta go right now. Or I'm, like, late for something, which almost never happens.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, He's like, no, we have places to be. We're going to get there the most efficient way possible. And some would say it's erratic. But he does drive well. And so I'm usually the navigator.
Yeah.
On, like, road trips and stuff. But, like, that kind of works out. And we had to learn that. Because for a while it was like, no, I'm the better driver. No, I'm the better driver. No, I'm the better driver. And it was like, you find strengths and weaknesses also that can be metaphors for other parts of your relationship.
Ooh, so. Metaphors. Oh,
isn't that fun? Take it back. Take it back to AP English in high school.
Yes.
But yeah, things like that. Everything you do in your relationship, like the first time you do anything, it's like a learning thing. And there's a lot of things it's like, well, you can learn that for something else, but it's like, you really don't know what you can learn until you do something.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah.
Molly, have you ever gotten lost on a road trip with anybody?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. It's not just for, like, relationships. It's, like, friends,
too.
That's
why I said anybody.
Yeah. Because if you go on a road trip with your best friends and, like, one of them can't handle it, but she won't or he won't give up power, and it's like, you don't get to keep power because you can't handle this.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that people learn.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever have gotten lost, nobody's ever treated it like a big deal.
Yeah. Which is good.
I mean, I think that stuff is funny, so...
So, as far as Molly knows, no one's ever treated it like a big deal, but that's because she was laughing her ass off in the back seat.
She doesn't
care. Yeah. I haven't really either. That reminds me, though, when you were talking about experiencing things for the first time, after you talked about moving in together before getting married and how you thought that really helped, and Molly was talking about how there wasn't any evidence for this, I went looking for evidence, of course.
Oh, good.
Naturally. So, most of what I found, and I don't remember exactly what I read, I know that there was an article in The Atlantic.
Love it.
It seems like it more depends on when you get married, or when you move in and get married as far as your age goes. So they were like,
that's valid. Yeah,
if you move in together and then get married and you're 18, you're more likely to get divorced than if you're, like, you know, yours and Sam's age or even older, like... age was more important. And then it depends on why you decide to get married. So a phrase a lot of people kept using is if you slide into marriage. So, like, you move in together and you get married just because you're already kind of doing it, then you're more likely to get divorced if you're like, like you and Sam, we're going to get married, let's move in together. Yeah. Like, you have to have some determination. Yeah. Not just... well, we're kind of married, so let's just be really married.
You get pregnant, and it's like, you have to get married now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, just a little past recap for everybody.
Nice.
Yeah. And so the next thing we wanted to talk about was something that I feel like there's been a debate about, kind of. I haven't heard anything kind of recently, anyone talking about it.
I don't know how recent it was. But I heard something when you brought it up, I was like, oh my god, yeah, I want to talk about this too.
It's the idea of being called a man versus a boy, or being called a woman versus a girl. Because in society, once you turn 18, or in our society, once you turn 18, you're considered an adult. But a lot of times, the female gender is often called girl for a lot longer period of time before they are called woman, as compared to guys being called men. Yeah. But then on the flip side, I like girl better personally. I don't feel like a woman.
How do you feel about lady?
I don't like that either.
Okay.
Ladies are only in the 80s is how I feel.
Shut up.
And I don't know if that's part of society.
I think that's part of society.
Yeah, like, oh, you're a woman when you're like in your 30s and 40s. And so I'm like, I'm not, so I'm a girl. But
I think my thing is that, so you're a girl.
Yes.
People call you a girl.
Yes.
And that's fine. Like, if your boss called you a girl, if a man... So when you have, like... when you're talking about somebody at your work that's under the age of 27, and you like...
I like good arbitrary age.
Yeah, so like under the age of 27, and you say something about her, you call her a girl. Like, that's just what we're... That's just what's comfortable to us. But you would never... Or like, I found myself, because I thought about this recently-ish, would never call a 27-year-old... Like, right now, I'm gonna say man. Because that was in my head. I would never call a 27-year-old male a boy. I would never say that boy... Like, okay, when you're in the supermarket and you say...
That's weird, yeah.
When you're in the supermarket or in Walmart and you look over and you're, like, talking about... Like, this is rude, but, like, you're talking about somebody and you say, look at the girl in the blue. And she's around the age of 27. Yeah. You never say, look at the boy in the blue.
Look at the boy in the blue, yeah.
Because then the person you're talking to is going to be looking for a child. But when you say girl in the blue, it's any woman in the store.
That's true.
You know?
I would say, look at that guy.
See, that's another...
That's what I was going to say.
That's another thing that I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you say your first point then.
That was one of my points, is that I wouldn't even... I don't... Like, if there's plural, I'll say women. I usually don't say girls.
But that's what I was going to say in this discussion. So to go off what both of y'all were saying, man and woman are equivalent. Boy and girl are equivalent. Guy doesn't have one. And that's what I feel most...
Gal.
But it doesn't. That doesn't work. We know, like, I would call my boyfriend a guy. I would call Sam a guy.
Yeah.
I would say, oh, you know, Laura went to trivia with these guys the other night. You know, Sam and his group of friends. You're right. I don't call people girls, but there's only 2 options and men have 3.
Well, like, see, when I say girl, I'll say, like, oh, if I'm talking about a child, I'll be like, look at that little girl over there.
Okay, what do you say if you saw Laura at
look
Laura's
at that big
age?
girl.
Look at that big girl.
I'm more than 1 point.
Stop.
Yo, big girl.
Big girls don't cry. It's personal.
I would probably say girl, because I was thinking about that. It is kind of like an age thing. Like,
exactly.
If they physically look older, like they could be like my mom's age.
Yeah.
I would say, look at that lady, look at that woman over there. And then same with
ladies
men,
not for young women.
Yeah.
Same with men though. Like, if I saw a guy who looked really old, like my dad did, I'd say, look at that man over there. And I'd probably almost still say guy. Like, I just, like, guy is what I use for every age, except maybe, like, a boy. I would say, like, look at that little boy over there.
Would you consider guy colloquial?
Yeah, because it's, like, slang.
Okay.
But like you said, really, gal
is
its match, but it's not popular enough. It's a very, like, southern or old westy kind of word.
I think we should point out that we're not chastising people who use this, because obviously we all do too, and we don't know.
like I said, I prefer girl.
Yeah, and we don't know, like, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. It's just bringing attention to the fact that, like, like, subconsciously there's like a token of respect. Like, do we want to go that far and say that, like, there's a token of respect put on male because we say man more comfortably, or are we just gonna say, like,
I'm not sure respect is the right
Thank
word. Neither is suspect.
But, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's something about society treating women young.
Let's just go full liberal and say that it's unequal because we get called girl into adulthood and guys don't.
I mean, as its basis, that could be the argument for it.
Well, I mean, there is an obvious sexist argument,
right?
That my boss, who just hired me 3 weeks ago, when I walked in, probably said, or when they were going through resumes, probably said, "Oh yeah, that girl that came in the other day," and said, because he's more conservative and older, probably said that man or young man that came in, but he wouldn't have said, like, young man. Woman. I don't think he would have said young woman. But man is
kind of a greeting, you know. It's like how we say, like, "Hey girl." We'll be
don't say, like, hey man.
Yeah,
no one says that.
Guys do it.
I'm not saying they don't do it, but I don't think
that's not the same thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's what we're talking about right now.
Talking about.
No, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like, it makes it more. It's like y'all are saying that.
You think men use the word man more?
No. I'm saying that, like, y'all are saying that why do men get called man at like such a younger age, whereas girls still get called girls up until they're like in their 30s or so. But I think the reason why that happens is because man is a more like generally used term just in like casual conversation, so it ends up getting used more, so it comes across like it's like at a higher level than girls. Does that make sense?
Okay, but still to that point, if man's used more and girls used more, there's still the inequality that girl could like denotes.
No, because that's a greeting. Those are the greetings. Like, you don't say,
but
hey,
why?
What's up?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, girl is a greeting, which denotes small, child, young. Man is the greeting for male, which denotes maturity and age.
Yeah.
But it just sounds more normal. Like, it's like I just said, because you don't say, hey, woman.
Because people kept saying it, not because it's right. Like, things sound normal because people say them over and over and over again. If people had said boy, like, what's up, my boy? Hey, boy.
People do that, too.
Yeah, but you're arguing that not as much, and you're arguing that's why the man said. And I'm saying that's because it's more accepted as the term for men and males at every age, while girl is accepted for females at every age. And like,
people
that's
actually get mad about this stuff?
It's this on top of other things.
Yeah. I remember when Supergirl, the show on the CW, started, one of the things they talked about when they named her Supergirl, because, you know, she goes and, like, saves a plane and then flies away. She doesn't do it as a superhero.
Yeah.
The newspaper gave her the name Supergirl, and she was like, wait a minute, my cousin has Superman, why am I not Superwoman? And
was she in the comic?
She's always been Supergirl.
Isn't there a Superwoman?
I know there's a Batgirl and a Batwoman. I don't know about Superwoman. Yeah. But she was like, yeah, why not Superwoman? And the editor kind of in response was talking about like, well, I'm a girl and I'm like the super powerful rich woman, so like there's nothing bad about being called girl, but then on the other hand, it's just like, why? Like,
I think that's the biggest question is like, why? Like you were talking about, man is used more in speech, but girl is also used more in speech, and who decided that? And what was the decision process? And no, it doesn't have to be this deep. True. But it has been, and now it's like resonating. Like, in this new age of like, okay, we fought for equality years ago, and y'all gave us what we wanted then, in quotations then. Now we're questioning other things in our lives that are like, that's not the same.
It's just like cultural sexism. Not that you calling me a girl is harming me directly. Like I said,
offending me deeply.
I prefer it. Yeah, but it's just like, why is that the thing? Why is there no girl, guy?
Boy, why do we not call
where's the third? Where's our third term?
Oh, okay, yeah. It's sexist because we only have two.
That's right, and that's truly unequal.
There's 3 versus 2. I understand numbers.
Yes.
No, it's not that, like, it's not the thing that's, like, gonna break the mold and, like, no one's gonna change it. Like, it's not even that important. There are so many other things that are so much more important.
I think it's a dumb thing to get worked up about.
To change, but it's not a dumb thing to get worked up about.
I think it is. I mean, I believe back in the day, those words had... Huh?
What is the day?
Yeah, are we talking about, like, the 70s or, like, the 1910s?
The 70s.
Okay.
I believe then those using, like, calling technically a woman a girl had some kind of meaning behind it. But I think nowadays there isn't any meaning behind it. Like there's no use of power of like me calling y'all girls instead of women.
Well, you're a woman for one. You can't abuse the power in the same way.
Yeah.
Because, like, then you're also calling yourself a girl because we're all the same age.
Okay, then I think a guy the same age as me calling y'all girls instead of women wouldn't have any meaning behind it. I think that would just be what he was calling y'all.
But when you say that, to me, what I hear is this has been going on since the 70s, and so it's just so ingrained in us that it doesn't matter. But I think just acknowledging the fact that it's ingrained is still important.
So why do we have to make a big deal about it?
Well, that's an argument for a lot of things that are going on right now. Like, a lot of things in the world have been going on for a long time and have been accepted for a long time.
Yeah.
And just because they've been accepted by, what seemingly is a majority doesn't make those things right. And, like, no, this isn't, like, racial profiling. This isn't, like...
No one's getting killed over being called a girl.
Yeah, no one's being deported for being a girl. But it's still one of the, like...
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Thank you. See how easy that was, you guys?
Nicely.
I feel like a lot of people use the argument it's not that big of a deal to a lot of things to just, like, specifically focus on feminism people talk about today, because they're like, oh, well, you're not fighting for the right to vote. Oh, you're not fighting to actually go into the workplace, when the way that society treats and views women and even the smaller things, just because small things are smaller doesn't mean that they're not more important. Yeah. Especially because, like, there's going to be more small things happening.
Yeah, it's like I was saying earlier, like, the small things on top of the small things on top of the small things make a bigger thing. And it's at some point you have to realize that, like, all of these small things add up to our past being that we were oppressed.
Right.
I mean, like, we're seeing that a lot with minority groups. It's like, a lot of things have been okay for a lot of time. And a lot of people were just like, it's not that big of a deal because it doesn't affect me. Like, Molly doesn't care about being called a girl, doesn't think anybody should care about it. But for the people who do care about it, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, they're just taking advantage of this situation being one of the times that they're not equal. Like, you know?
Yeah.
But it's also... Sorry.
No.
But it's also... This is on a point earlier, but, like, when women fought for the right to vote, we got that right because they didn't want us fighting anymore. The men didn't think that, like... And this isn't a generalization. The men who gave us the right to vote didn't think that we deserved it. They just didn't want us rioting anymore. Like, people who riot don't get what they want because the people they're rioting against
decide that they're right.
Them.
Yeah.
They get the right because they're causing a problem that somebody wants solved. And somebody in a big office says, okay, give them a little bit of what they want so they'll stop. And that's how most... revolutions have gone.
Yeah. I also remember that we're talking about this as a broad, like, cultural society thing, not just your friends calling you a girl, or, like, us calling Sam a guy instead of, you know, as opposed to a boy or a man.
We're definitely not saying that you should go out and revolt against people calling girl.
Right.
There shouldn't be a hashtag made.
Yeah.
Girl to woman or whatever. Like.
Right. But this can affect you in, say, bigger things like a job. Let's say you're being interviewed by an older man. He is like, oh, you're just a nice young girl, a nice young lady, but you're probably not, you know, competent or mature enough for this job. Whereas they might see a guy the same age and think, you know, oh, what a nice young man. He's a stand-up citizen. If you're just seen as more immature, which like, that's not what Sam means if he called me a girl.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is, like, Molly doesn't mean anything by it. Molly's friends don't mean anything by it. Sam doesn't mean anything by it.
Right.
William doesn't mean anything by it. Nobody means anything by it.
Right.
Bailey wants to be called a girl. It's just in the instances where
when people who can affect you
do
use it.
Yeah. It can have effects that are bad, negative effects.
Yes.
It's not as big of a deal as, like, I would rather have
domestic abuse.
I would rather have domestic abuse fixed and, like, people actually go to jail for raping somebody.
Right.
And, like,
call me a girl when I'm 75, but that means we actually get, like, justice for
anything.
All types of crimes that are happening.
And, like, I would rather have equal wages. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Like, call me a girl until the day I die if I can like across the board make the same as my male counterpart.
Yeah.
But this doesn't make it better.
And people also say stuff like that isn't like a big deal. Like, oh, the wage gap's not important, or
it's not real.
Not even
it's only
real.
79 cents on a dollar.
We're going off. And Laura and I are sitting in my brother's bedroom.
It's so fucking hot.
Which is upstairs, and there's no...
You know heat rises.
Yes, I do. Heat rises. Our air conditioning upstairs broken, so I can literally feel the feminist anger sweating out of our bodies. Like, it just hit me at once how much I'm sweating just from existing, and then just also, like,
because feminism?
Getting worked up. Because feminism. Hashtag, that should have been...
Because feminism.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us this week on Our 3 Cents. We hope you enjoyed Laura's clarification on her hot tip, her hot relationship list. Tell us if you've ever gotten lost with anybody on a road trip or ever gotten really frustrated with another human being that you were close to, not like a Starbucks barista.
We don't care about that.
We don't care about that. And let us know, maybe you've never thought about the whole man-boy, girl-woman debate, but
maybe you have differing
maybe you have differing opinions. Just let us know. Let us know any thoughts you have ever that are kind of relevant to the podcast.
Or not. We'll talk.
I mean, that's why we're not always very relevant to the podcast, so you don't have to be. And you can do that by DMing us on Twitter over at ourthreecentspod. That's our 3 cents with the number 3. Follow us over there to get all the hottest updates, new episodes, Twitter polls, just a great time. You can also email us at ourthreecentspod@gmail.com, and that is 3 with the word spelled out. Subscribe to us on SoundCloud and iTunes and YouTube. Find us all those places. Watch us. Like us. Give us that feedback. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash.
Throw up those likes. What did the vloggers say nowadays?
Leave us reviews. That's what gets us ratings. Rate us and review us. That's what gives us.
Yeah. And tell us if you wish we would do something different. Or, dare I say, better? I mean, it's the best podcast, so I don't know how much more we can go. But, just tell us any of your thoughts at all, ever, anytime. The lines are always open. Thanks to Kevin MacLeod for letting us use Digital Lemonade as our theme song. Over from Incompetech.com with, stay tuned for next week, where we continue the very long-running tradition of doing fun things every 10th episode. As we have a nice, fun episode 20.
Yeah.
So, keep that in the back of your minds for next week.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm Bailey.
I'm Laura.
I'm Molly.
We will see you next week unless someone drops a surprise vacation on us. Goodbye.
Bye.
We should try to harmonize one day.
It's not gonna happen.
No, I know. But it'll be a funny outro just now.